Hi everyone, I am here at the Bible reading. I hope you guys are having a great day. It is very pretty out there today. Very pretty. And this week's supposed to be in the 70s and 80s here. Can you believe it, Layla? A couple of days this week it's going to be in the 80s. But then a few days later we'll probably have ice and snow again.
Yeah, then 20 again.
That's how it is in Ohio. No joke. No joke. Just like last night it was really, really, really cold. And now it's like in the 70s. But that's the way it is. We'll be having all pretty days for too long here. Then we'll be complaining about the heat. And that's how it is. We people just like to complain. Sure, my tube's leaking water.
Okay.
Why does it do that? Keeps getting water in my nose. Alright guys, so today we're going to be reading Luke chapter 22, verse 54, reading through chapter 23, verse 12. We'll be having two Psalms today, Psalm 95 and 96, because I believe we started Psalm 95 yesterday, didn't we? So it's finishing up that Psalm. And Proverbs Chapter 14, verses 5 and 6. Now remember, we left off yesterday where Jesus was being arrested, where Judas Iscariot betrayed him. And keep in mind, remember, Peter's told Jesus, I will never deny you. I will go down to death with you if I have to. And Jesus said, I tell you the truth, Peter, before the rooster crows today, you will deny me 3 times. But Peter said, no. But like I said, you cannot say any different unless you're in the same situation Peter was. Because it's easy to say, I would have done this or I wouldn't have done that. But when you're in person, faced with it, you don't know what you'll do till that happens. And Peter loved Jesus. He never stopped loving Jesus, and Jesus never stopped loving Peter. Jesus knew what was going to happen, but he didn't love Peter nonetheless. Alright, so today we're starting with Peter disowns Jesus, and then the guards mock Jesus. I don't know why Pilate let them do that. And Jesus before Pilate and Herod. So we got a lot to read here today. Alright, so let's begin with Peter disowns Jesus. See, the other disciples, they took off when Jesus was arrested. They fled. They said one guy even fled naked because he lost his cloth, his loincloth or whatever, and he just kept going. He was so scared. But Peter followed at a distance to see what was going to happen to Jesus. Then seizing him, they led him away and took him into the house of the high priest. Just by seizing Jesus, they took him there. Peter followed at a distance, and when some there had kindled a fire in the middle of the courtyard and had sat down together, they were having like a little fire pit, and people all sitting around talking, Peter sat down with them. A servant girl saw him seated there in the firelight. She looked closely at him and said, this man was with him. Was with Jesus. But he denied it. Woman, I don't know him, he said. There's one. A little later, someone else saw him and said, you are also one of them. Man, I am not, Peter replied. That's 2. About an hour later, another asserted, certainly this fellow was with him, for he is a Galilean. Peter replied, man, I don't know what you are talking about. That's 3. Just like Jesus said, just as he was speaking, the rooster crowed. The Lord turned and looked straight at Peter. Can you imagine? You disowning Jesus 3 times like you said you wouldn't. And then hearing that rooster crow and knowing exactly what he said came true. And Jesus, beaten and bloody, turned to look at him. Like, I told you, Peter, but I still love you, Peter. Then Peter remembered the word of the Lord, what he had spoken to him. Before the rooster crows today, you will disown me 3 times. And he went outside and wept bitterly. Because he loved Jesus. He was just scared. That's why he denied him. He was scared that something was going to happen to him, like it was Jesus. The men who were guarding Jesus began mocking and beating him. They blindfolded him and demanded, prophesy! Who hit you? And they said many other insulting things to him. They even spit on him. Probably spit in his face. Can you imagine when they're up in heaven now, being judged when they died, seeing Jesus there, the Son of God, like, remember me? Jesus looking at him, you remember me? Now we're going to see Jesus before Pilate and Herod. At daybreak, the council of the elders of the people, both the chief priests and the teachers of the law, met together, and Jesus was led before them. If you are the Messiah, they said, tell us. Jesus answered, if I tell you, you will not believe me. And if I asked you, you would not answer. But from now on, the Son of Man will be seated at the right hand of the mighty God. Which, of course, Jesus, calling himself the Son of God, threw them into a rage. They all asked, are you then the Son of God? He replied, you say that I am. Then they said, why do we need any more testimony? We have heard it from his own lips. Then the whole assembly rose and led him off to Pilate. And they began to accuse him, saying, we have found this man subverting our nation. He opposes payment of taxes to Caesar and claims to be the Messiah, a king. Liars. Jesus never opposed taxes to Caesar. You remember the parable about that, or when they tried to question Jesus? You know, should we pay taxes to Caesar or to not? And Jesus said, let me see a denarius. It was just like a penny. And he said, whose inscription and picture is on here? And they said, Pilate. Give back to Pilate what is Pilate, or Herod, what is God, give to God's. Jesus never told them not to pay tax. They're liars. So Pilate asked Jesus, are you the king of the Jews? You have said so, Jesus replied. Pilate really didn't want Jesus to be killed. He tried pretty much everything to free him. And Pilate's wife told Pilate, sent him a message saying, don't have anything to do with this man, Jesus, for I suffered today in a dream because of him. And that scared him even more, because he was actually believing maybe this man is the Son of God, you know. Then Pilate announced to the chief priests and the crowd, I find no basis for a charge against this man. But they insisted, he stirs up the people all over Judea by his teaching. He started in Galilee and has come all the way here. Well, what are they doing? It's not okay for Jesus to do it, but they can. They can give people rules that are horrible rules. Jesus didn't. They could give people horrible rules and tell them you're supposed to do this and you're not allowed to do this. But like Jesus said, they like to tell people what to do, but they themselves do not practice what they preach. They want everybody to listen and worship them. Jesus is in their way to them. When Herod saw Jesus, he was greatly pleased, because for a long time he had been wanting to see him. From what he had heard about him, he hoped to see him perform a sign of some sort. He plied him with many questions, but Jesus gave him no answer. The chief priests and the elders of the law were standing there, vehemently accusing him. They even lied on him, said he did things he didn't even do, like opposing taxes to Caesar. Then Herod and his soldiers ridiculed and mocked Jesus. Dressing him in an elegant robe, they sent him back to Pilate. That day, Herod and Pilate became friends. Before this, they had been enemies. So torturing Jesus brought them together. Isn't that a nice story to tell your kids and your grandkids? Oh, Herod's my best friend. How'd you guys meet, Papa? Well, we were enemies for a long time until we had this case where they killed this guy who said he was the Son of God. And that brought us together. We became good friends that day. Ha ha ha. You killed the Son of God, Grandpa? Psalm 95. Come, let us sing for joy to the Lord. Let us shout aloud to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before him with thanksgiving and extol him with music and song. For the Lord is the great God, the great King above all gods. In his hand are the depths of the earth, and the mountain peaks belong to him. The sea is his, for he made it, and his hands formed the dry land. He formed you too. like David said, knit you together in your mother's womb, just how he wanted you to be. Never be embarrassed by yourself. You are made by God and made to look the way you look for a reason. Come, let us bow down and worship. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker, for he is our God, and we are the people of his pasture, the flock under his care. Will that make you feel good? Because nothing could take away Jesus. When you're under Jesus' care, you're protected 24/7, 365, all the time. You're never left alone. Today, if only you would hear his voice. Do not harden your hearts as you did at Meribah, as you did that day at Massah in the wilderness, where your ancestors tested me. They tried me, though they had seen what I did. For 40 years I was angry with that generation. I said, they are a people whose hearts go astray, and they have not known my ways. So I declared an oath in my anger. They shall never enter my rest. See, this is talking about, again, when he rescued the Hebrews from the land of Egypt, and they kept turning their backs on him. But he forgave them every single time. But finally, it took 40 years. You're like, why did it take 40 years to get to the promised land? I don't believe that story. It took 40 years because they had to fight battles with people to get more land, and so on and so on. But God said, because those people kept denying him, they even made a freaking cow idol to worship. They done everything to make God mad, to deny him, until they got what they wanted. And he usually always gave it to them. But then, once it was gone, they started again, didn't want nothing to do with him. So God is like, this generation is not going into the promised land. So he waited for that generation to die out. And then their kids and stuff would enter the promised land of Canaan. That's why it took 40 years. Because I wondered at myself, why did it take 40 years? Every time you read the Bible, this is why we do it every single year. This is why I do it. So you could read the Bible 5 times a day and find something you didn't know every time. Or you'll understand it better than you did. There's a lot of things that, I thought was one way in here when I first started reading. And then, the more I got to reading through the years, I learned that has nothing to do with that at all. This has something to do with this, You learn and you grow in your faith like you're supposed to. Okay, Psalm 96. Sing to the Lord a new song. Sing to the Lord all the earth. Can you imagine how beautiful that'd be? If all the earth just started singing to the Lord. It would be so beautiful, I bet. Sing to the Lord. Praise his name. Proclaim his salvation day after day. Declare his glory among the nations, his marvelous deeds among the peoples. For great is the Lord and most worthy of praise. He is to be feared above all gods, for all the gods of the nations are idols. They can't talk, they can't see, they can't hear, but people worship them. Does that make sense? For all the gods of the nations are idols, but the Lord made the heavens and the earth and everything. Splendor and majesty are before him. Strength and glory are in his sanctuary. Ascribe to the Lord, all you families of nations. Ascribe to the Lord glory and strength. Ascribe to the Lord the glory due his name. Bring an offering and come into his courts. Worship the Lord in the splendor of his holiness. Tremble before him, all the earth. The best way you can sacrifice to the Lord is by loving him and spreading the word of Jesus and acting like Jesus would act. Say among the nations, the Lord reigns. The world is firmly established, it cannot be moved. He will judge the people with equity. Let the heavens rejoice, let the earth be glad. Let the sea resound and all that is in it. Let the fields be jubilant and everything in them. Let all the trees of the forest sing for joy. How beautiful that would be. You can picture them swaying and singing a melody. Let the fields be jubilant and everything in them. Let all the trees of the forest sing for joy. Let all creation rejoice before the Lord, for he comes to judge the earth. He will judge the world in righteousness and the peoples in his faithfulness. Amen. That was 96. Psalm 96. Now we're ending today's Bible reading with Proverbs Chapter 14, verses 5 and 6. An honest witness does not deceive, but a false witness pours out lies. Just like the teachers of the law did with Jesus, lying on him to try to get him killed. The mocker seeks wisdom and finds none, but knowledge comes easily to the discerning. You always learn more and more about the Bible every time you read it, guys. And I'm not just saying that. It's the truth. I mean, I have. I hope you would too. So that was our Bible reading today. I hope it touched your hearts. Now let me go to the prayer requests. They are the same. So I'll just go through the names. Rhonda Karshner, Sherm. Is your chest feeling better today? His chest still hurts. And of course his arm does too. He goes to therapy tomorrow and Thursday, twice a week. For I don't know how long, but we'll find out. They never did let us know if the insurance approved it or not. So I guess we'll find out when he goes there tomorrow. If it didn't, don't stay there because we can't afford that. Tell him you can't afford it and leave, okay? But the insurance always approves therapy, so it should. What am I supposed to do? You want me to call there tomorrow and ask them before you go? Okay, please pray for Layla and her son Emil. Emil has an unspoken prayer request for something really, really good to happen in his life that he wants, which will even better his life even more. So please pray for Emil for the unspoken prayer request. God knows what it is. And please pray for Layla for her health and other things in her life she needs prayer for. Elizabeth Jeffries, Judy Thompson, Jimmy Myers, our nephew. He had to go today. Mom's got him in town right now, getting blood work and an EKG. He's got to get a COVID test right before the surgery. He can't have it now. So he's just getting a bunch of tests done today to get prepared to make sure he can, what do they call it? What do they call that when you get approved for surgery? Let's see, anyway, it says for his doctor to look over all his tests and to see if he's cleared for surgery. That's the word I was looking for, cleared. Plumb long. To see if he's cleared for surgery. So hopefully he will be. Get that taken care of. Cindy Welsh. She's been having a lot of mucus and coughing again. I'm getting her some cough syrup, but she needs to take it. Dora Parker, Joyce Light, Latham Burns, Abby Myers. I'm going to try to call her in a little bit. I haven't talked to her in a few days, a while. So I just wanted her to know, I think about her every day and she's loved. Half the time she don't answer the phone, so I don't know. I probably won't be able to get a hold of her, but I think she's probably at work. Donna Dunlap and family, Garnet Boyer and Jim Mitchell. Garnet's really losing a lot of weight. I mean, she's lost a lot of weight. I don't know if it's because she's sick or she's just losing weight because she wants to, but because she's had cancer before, I pray she's not sick. Please pray for her. Ramona Henry, Jan, I always get that mixed up. Jan, Jeannie Burns, Kathy Butterball, Kinsley. Still haven't heard nothing about her because her dad's keeping her and Olsen away from their mom right now, which is my sister. He does that every time he gets a girlfriend, she said, or he gets mad at her, I hate when people do that. They've done that to me all my life with the kids. If you don't kiss their butt 24/7 and say and do what they say or want, they rip the kids from you. Even if you're the one, like me, that took care of them the day they came out of the hospital, you're the one that pretty much raised them until they jerk them away from you. It doesn't just hurt the person that you're mad at, but it hurts the kids too. But they don't care. People don't care. They just like to hurt people. It's a horrible thing you could do to a child or somebody else. I mean, it was really bad what I went through. I had to get put on depression medicine, anxiety medicine. That's when I had to start taking medicine when that happened. I was going crazy. Crying every day, just missing on my babies. I couldn't deal. You know, I wanted to kill myself. Because they were they weren't treated very good. Let's just say that. My sister Melly, I don't know, she's got divorce papers coming this week, but I don't know if she's thinking about staying with her husband again or what, because I seen she put a picture of him on there last night, of him holding up pictures of him and her or something. He's in prison still. So I don't know. She was talking to another guy that was in prison there. I wish she would get a guy who didn't do drugs and wasn't in prison. I don't know why she doesn't, you know, get somebody like that. But she likes the bad boys for some reason. It's sad. So I'm not sure about the marriage now. The papers aren't signed yet, but they're coming. So I'm going to have to ask her. I think she's confused. She don't know what to do. Arnold Coffey. He's having trouble with his sinuses really bad. That's why he hasn't been able to come up to Mom's yet to bring stuff. He was out in the yard mowing the grass in the rain the other day. Why? And that's probably just makes his sinuses and stuff worse. It was cold and rainy, but he was mowing the grass. He didn't need to be out there in it for one thing. I've never seen nobody mow in the rain. I don't know what he was doing. I thought maybe he's like, you know, he's not in his right mind right now. Because I know what sinus infections are like. They're excruciatingly painful. They make my teeth hurt and everything. It's horrible. And he's elderly. And he's got a girlfriend, but they don't live together, I don't think. Anyway, and please pray for Tina Kincaid. She's my aunt's friend that, she got COVID. They put her in the hospital like me, but then they let her out. And her husband found her unconscious in their bathtub, you know, lack of oxygen and stuff. So now she's in a nursing home trying to recover from COVID. So please keep her in your prayers. And please keep the Campbell, I guess his name's Campbell, right? Please keep the owner's family of Campbell's, our grocery store here, in your prayers. His daughter went in the bathroom the other day and found her dad also in the bathtub, but he had passed away, and I think he was only 58. Nobody knows. He probably just had a heart attack. We don't know. But I don't know what's going to happen to the grocery store. If it's still going to stay here, or she's going to take it over, his daughter, or they're going to do away with it, sell it. I don't know. But please pray for their family. It's always worse like that, I think, when it happens to somebody you love, like right there. Like they get in a car wreck or something unexpectedly and die. I think that's a lot harder than, you know, somebody gradually getting sicker and sicker with cancer and stuff. And you know when their time's growing, you have a lot of time to prepare, you know. But when these happen like this, it's just, I think it's a lot harder. So, I don't know if their last name's Campbell, like the store, or what, but God knows. Please keep the family of that man, the owner of Campbell's, in your prayers. Okay, so I think I've got everything for the Bible study, or Bible reading today. So I'm going to go get the Bible study set up, and then we'll also do a Bible lesson today. Christian watchfulness. Are you ready for heaven? That will be the topic today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Enjoy this beautiful day if it's beautiful where you are. Layla, what's the weather there now? Let me know. And God willing, I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another Bible reading. Bye guys. God bless.